Hello to you! I am Vital ASMR, and today I'm once again going to be talking about my home country, Norway, because I know a lot of you love us videos where I just talk about Norwegian country and culture. I'm going to do 6 facts about Norway today, and I'm also going to do some crinkly Norwegian chocolate sounds. So it's going to be a Norwegian video. Just to be clear, even though I talk a lot about Norway in my videos, I'm fascinated by many countries around the world, so so I like studying the cultures of other countries a little too, but today I'm going to focus on my home country, Norway. Okay, so let's just get started. I don't know where to begin. There are 6 facts I'm going to talk about today. You know what, let's begin with Easter, because it's not many weeks to Easter. In Norway, we mark Easter in a rather special way. A lot of Norwegians, not me and my family actually, but a lot of Norwegians often go to their cabins in the mountains during Easter. A lot of people in Norway have cabins in the beautiful Norwegian mountain ranges in Easter, and it is a tradition that when it is Easter vacation, they will go there and go skiing, go hiking in the mountain ranges near their cabins. Very huge tradition in Norway. So another huge tradition, of course, is what we will have Easter eggs, big Easter eggs, and we will put sort of candy into the Easter eggs, or chocolate bars or stuff like that. I put chocolate bars in my Easter egg. So I'm going to show you guys more of that when we come to Easter, but I believe I've also showed it in past Easter videos actually. So anyway, we also have an official hiking chocolate in Norway called for Quick Lunch. I don't have any of that chocolate right now, but it's a very good chocolate we often use during hiking, because hiking is a big thing in Norway, and Quick Lunch is a very good chocolate, especially for hiking. Anyway, let's move on to the next fact about Norway. So Norway as a modern nation, I mean we've been a country for like over 1,000 years, but as a modern nation, Norway arose during the early 19th century. We got our own constitution in 1814. We had been ruled by Denmark for like 400 years, and that ended in 1840. For one very central reason, Denmark allied with Napoleon's France during the Napoleonic Wars, and as Napoleonic France lost the war, Denmark had to give Norway away to Sweden, because Sweden was on the winning side. And thus we got free from Denmark, and some in Norway seized on the opportunity and signed an own Norwegian constitution, and formally this is the 17th of May 1814, which is also our constitution day. The 17th of May is our national day. It's our celebration day in Norway. So that meant that Norway was one step closer to becoming an independent country, but of course Sweden didn't accept full independence from Norway, so didn't accept that Norway got full independence, apologies. So we got into a forced union with Sweden for nearly a century. However, as we came closer to the early 20th century, Norway started to want its own independence, and well, around that time in the late 19th century, early 20th century, Norway started to build a lot of military installations and defenses and forts and cannons and stuff like that, because they were very afraid that Sweden wouldn't accept that Norway wanted independence. So many in Norway were concerned what a war with Sweden would come, what Sweden would essentially invade Norway to stop the independence. This did not happen. Thankfully, everything was resolved peacefully, and Sweden eventually accepted Norway becoming independent, and in 1905 Norway became fully free and independent and even got its very own king. So that was a big moment in Norwegian history, because for the first time in many centuries Norway was an independent country again. And now Norway has been more or less independent for well over 100 years. However, we are now getting into another part of history. Now we get into the next fact, because while most of this time has been free and independent, there were 5 years which were not as free and independent. During the Second World War, we were occupied, invaded and occupied by Nazi Germany, like many countries in Europe. Norway had stayed out of the First World War. We were neutral during First World War, so we weren't affected by the First World War. And we wanted to stay neutral during the Second World War too. But Nazi Germany did not respect this, because Nazi Germany wanted to stop England from getting benefits of Norway's strategic location and resources and stuff like that. So Nazi Germany invaded and occupied Norway in April 1940. In April 1940, and in that relation, the fascist party of Norway got into power with Vidkun Quisling as illegitimate prime minister. He was not elected; they just couped power thanks to the invasion and occupation. And of course, because of this, Quisling has been, since then, considered a traitor in Norwegian history, and his name is today synonymous with traitor. That's why it's because of this that when people call someone a Quisling, they essentially call that person a traitor, because it is considered in Norway that Quisling betrayed his own country by allying with the occupying force. So yeah, and during these 5 years, from 1940 to 1945, we were occupied by Nazi Germany. This also includes my hometown. Actually, it was also occupied. There were German soldiers there, but when the war ended, Nazi Germany retreated. There was a lot of resistance in Norway to Nazi Germany during these years. In Norway, these years are known as the war. When we in Norway talk about the war, we are talking about the 1940s and occupation era. So there was a lot of resistance from certain Norwegians towards Nazi Germany during these years. But in 1945, it all ended. Nazi Germany retreated, because they had lost the war, so they retreated out of Norway. Norway was free again. The royal family and the actual government returned, and Vidkun Quisling was arrested and subsequently executed, to be honest. He was among the final executions in Norwegian history. He was actually shot. I think he was blindfolded and shot in the head at Fredriksten Fort in Oslo, our capital. So this was not a bright time in Norwegian history, the war era, but there was lots of celebration and happiness when Norway once again was free in 1945. And since then, Norway has been fully free and independent. Okay. So that was just some history for you guys, some slight pieces of history. It's a bit strange to think that my hometown once have been occupied by soldiers, military of an occupying force. But they once, 80 years ago, actually were German soldiers here. Very weird to think about, because it's so long before I was born. But it's like 50 years before I was born. But that has actually been the case. Very weird to think about, especially seeing as I've only seen my town in an age of peace and prosperity. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to another fact about Norway. We're going to move on to, in Norway, as I probably now indicated by talking about Norway's history, we have a monarchy, but also a government, a prime minister. The monarchy, the ceremonial head, the symbolic figurehead of Norway is the king, King Harald. He is the third king in modern times since Norway became independent. And he has a son who will become the next king, and he also has a granddaughter who will become our first queen in modern times. Most likely many decades from now. So yeah, but right now Harald is our king, and he has been king since 1991, when his father, the previous king, passed. So, but while the king is our symbolic figurehead, the actual government of Norway is led by the prime minister. Currently, this is Jonas Gahr Støre of the Labour Party, who was elected prime minister in 2021 when the left-wing alliance won the election. He was the prime minister candidate in both 2017 and 2021, but he didn't win the first time, but he won the second time, and now he's our prime minister. He is the party leader of the Labour Party, the established left party, and he is also the prime minister candidate for the Left Alliance and the Labour Party in Norway politics for the election which will come this September. There is election in Norway every 4th year, and usually our prime minister sits out for a 4-year period and can be elected and re-elected. There are no term limits. So they usually sit out their periods, but there have been government collapses in Norwegian history. And when a government collapses, the opposition just automatically moves into power for one very central reason. In Norway, it is not possible to call a new election during the middle of the period. So there is always a new parliamentary election every 4th year. We cannot call a new election during the middle of the period. The last time a government collapsed was in 2000. There are 3 prime minister candidates this year. There are Jonas Gahr Støre, who is seeking his 2nd term as prime minister. He's the incumbent. And his popularity has risen a lot recently, because for some central reasons. There are some central reasons to that. One reason is that the party they cooperated with, the centrist party, has left government, so the Labour Party is now free to form their own policies. And they have done some actions recently which has been seen as positive by the public, but the very most central reason of all is that recently Jens Stoltenberg, the former prime minister and leader of Labour Party and the former general secretary of NATO, became Minister of Finance in the government, and he is super popular in Norway. So because of that, the Labour Party polls has gone way up. The other prime minister candidates are Erna Solberg of the established Right Party. She is seeking to return as prime minister. She was a prime minister from 2013 to 2021, but she is seeking a new term as prime minister. She lost the last election, but she wants to win this one. And then you have Sylvi Listhaug of the more far-right Progress Party, the very conservative part of Norway, who is also doing very well in the polls. And she is also, because of that, a prime minister candidate, which is quite sensational, because if she became prime minister, she will be the first prime minister from the Progress Party in Norwegian history. So, but for she to become prime minister, the Progress Party has to become the biggest on the conservative side, and the conservatives have to win the election. If the Right Party becomes the biggest and the conservatives win, Erna Solberg becomes prime minister. If the Progress Party becomes the biggest, Sylvi Listhaug becomes prime minister. But if the left wins the election, on the other hand, then Støre remains prime minister. These are the 3 most likely outcomes anyway. The polls vary a little now. It is slightly on the right side, but there are some polls now where the left bloc is actually leading. So we are not entirely certain what kind of government we'll end up with after this year's, after autumn's election. We'll see. Anyway, enough about politics. I just want to ramble a little about that. Okay. So, what is the... I just want to talk about a very special Norwegian curiosity, which is ketchup on pizza. Yeah, I know. It's a Norwegian thing. Here in Norway, we enjoy actually putting ketchup on pizza. Not all Norwegians does it, but a lot do. So in our pizza restaurants, there is always a ketchup bottle on the table. And even in our homes when we have pizza. I love putting ketchup on pizza. I learned just recently that that wasn't super common outside of Norway, but I'm born and raised with it. It's a Norwegian thing, okay. And we also are very fond of frozen pizza. Relative to population, Norway actually leads in the world charts in terms of consumption of frozen pizza. It's become super popular in Norway ever since frozen pizza came to Norway in 1980s. So yeah. Okay, the final thing I'm going to talk about is Norwegian chocolate and chocolate brands, and I brought 4 pieces of chocolate as an example. There are 3 dominant chocolate brands in Norway: Freia, Minde, and Nidar. And Freia is perhaps the most prominent and most famous chocolate brand of all. They have the standard Norwegian milk chocolate, very traditional and famous chocolate all around the country. Still loved by many Norwegians, both older and younger today. Then you have Nidar, which is also has super good chocolate and is also a big competitor to Freia. Actually, Freia's main competitor. They have that good bubbly Stratus chocolate bar. Chocolate stuff, they are really... So they are also very popular. And then you have Minde too, which is also a very popular chocolate brand in Norway. So I have brought... I don't have any Minde chocolate right now, but I have Freia and Nidar chocolate. I'm going to show you guys 2 Freia chocolates and 2 Nidar chocolate bars type stuff. So just excuse me a second as I get the chocolates. Here you have milk roll chocolate. It's another version of the basic milk chocolate from Freia of Norway. And this is also super famous chocolate in Norway. It's essentially, you know, Freia has that huge chocolate bar with big chocolate pieces, which is the standard milk chocolate. But if you feel that is a bit too much, you may instead want to go for the milk roll, because that's much smaller pieces of milk chocolate. They also taste very good. Moving to Nidar chocolate. This is Nidar. They have a golden bread marzipan chocolate. So this is marzipan chocolate. It has a it is marzipan covered with dark chocolate, and it's dark chocolate with marzipan in it. It's really good chocolate. This is golden bread from Nidar. So if you like marzipan and marzipan chocolate, this may be for you. And it has a really elegant, nice golden type of wrapping too. So that's a plus, you know. That's a bonus. Then you have Norway's very own version of March. Jap chocolate from Freia. It's also a popular chocolate in Norway, been around for many decades, like since the middle of the last century or something like that. So it's also popular chocolate in Norway. It's essentially Norway's version of March, so it's the same type of... It has the same type of fudgy fill in it, like the March chocolate. It tastes a little different from the Mars chocolate. I'd say Mars chocolate is a little more sweeter. The chocolate is a little more mellow, but still very, but it's also, I can't explain it, but Jap chocolate sort of fills the stomach a little more than Mars chocolate. That it's a little bit more, I can't explain it. It feels sometimes like there's a little bit more to eat than there is in a Mars chocolate, but on the other side, Mars chocolate is a bit sweet. I'd say Mars is slightly better, but Jap chocolate is also very good. So yeah. So yeah. Then you have the final chocolate I'm presenting to you guys today. And this is from Nidar and it's Stratos. This is bubbly chocolate. You can see it here. And it says here below, Bobler av glede. That's Norwegian. It means bubbles of joy. Bobler is bubbles. And then glede means joy. Bubbles of joy. So it's sort of an airy, bubbly type of chocolate. So yeah. So if you essentially prefer chocolate which breathes a little more, is a bit lighter than regular milk chocolate, this may be for you. This is this is a chocolate bar version of Nidar's standard Stratos chocolate. So Freya is famous for their milk chocolate, and Nidar is famous for the Stratos chocolate. They have a regular chocolate, big chocolate bar with this, but this is a smaller type of chocolate bar. They have a regular Stratos chocolate plate, essentially. But this is more a smaller chocolate bar of Stratos. It's also very good chocolate, by the way. It tastes very different from Freya's milk chocolate. I can't explain the taste entirely, but it's sort of, it has a lighter taste to it, you know, and it's sort of this bubbly type of chocolate, so it's sort of like maybe a little easier to eat in a way. But it's also very delicious. Very delicious. And yeah. You can say it tastes a little milder type of chocolate. Yeah. Okay. So that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed me just talking about Norway, showing you Norwegian chocolate brands, stuff like that, and just talking about Norwegian system, society, history. I talked a lot about this in past Norwegian videos, but I thought it was time to just do a new one. Hope you enjoyed and wish you the best, and if you visit Norway someday, and you're not from Norway, I mean, and watching this, and you visit Norway someday, then you can have these various facts I told you now in the back of your head, you know. And if you want even more things about Norway, and want to see me doing an eating video, you can scroll down on my YouTube page, because I did a breakfast video with Norwegian breakfast earlier this week. So if you want more insight into Norwegian food culture, watch that breakfast video, because there I talk about Norwegian bread and breakfast culture. Wish you all the best and thank you for watching, and have a blessed divine week. Thank you. And if you visit Norway, ever visit Norway, have a great trip to Norway. Wish you the best. Thank you, my friend.